ring. I'm looking at this price point and I almost can't understand it because what you're getting is a huge 33 by 15 millimeter piece of either the Blue Kingman Turquoise or the Ceremonial Green Turquoise. And you'll notice all of the detail. I mean, you have got this stamped metalwork. There's the star motif. It has the rope detail as well. It's a really beautiful elongated shape on this. It's 1 3/4 inches in length. We do have sizes 6 through 12 available for this one. You just choose which type of turquoise you prefer. It's a massive customer pick. It is such a well-loved ring. Maybe we start with the 2 different types of turquoise and what they represent and signify.
Oh, yes. Okay.
She's like, let me grab my samples.
Okay.
This would be the ceremonial?
The ceremonial, the green. Okay, and so the story behind that is that there was a Navajo medicine man that had gone to the Kingman mine, and so what he's seen was this side, you know, on the rough. For the Navajo people, the snakes they use them in their healing ceremonies, and so when he's seen this, what he's seen was actually his depiction was snakes, you know, going in between the green. You know, the green of the turquoise.
Sure,
and so he thought for him that was something special, and so that's why they call it the ceremonial turquoise. And so that was used in a lot of jewelry making and for the Navajo people.
Wow.
And so now you have the regular turquoise, the Kingman turquoise, and so that is used too as well in a lot of their pieces for the Navajo people.
And they're 2, you know, tremendously different colorways. And I think it's really fun because either way you're getting beautiful quality turquoise, but maybe you do wear a little bit more of the earth tones, the green tones and the browns. It's a little bit of like a caramel kind of color.
I like the green. For me, the green, it's
pretty, right?
more earthy, yes. For me, because that's a little bit different for me. But then again, with the turquoise that has the really dark matrix in it, that's another favorite of mine.
Yes, and I do know that the ceremonial green tends to be the more limited whenever we have the 2 options. It's a little more rare, is it not? I mean, you don't see it everywhere.
I met someone in Phoenix who actually worked at one of the museums, and his version of it was like, they call it the hippie turquoise, you know, because a lot of people back then used to wear a lot of turquoise. And so actually more in the south part of Phoenix, you see a lot of green turquoise, but not too much blue. And so I didn't know the difference between turquoise until I started working with Chaco Canyon. And so now I know what the difference is.
And it's very comfortable to wear. You'll notice that the band itself is not inherently wide, so it actually is very comfortable, and it lies pretty flat against your hand. So even though it's substantial, I think you could easily wear this as an everyday ring. It's not going to get caught on anything. The silver work is tremendous.
The artist in here is Emerson Delgarito. He's one of our master silversmiths. This is what you see here, and he's the one who was making this piece, and he was showing me the different ways that he was making it. And I was amazed because that day when I went to see them, he came and he was actually sick that day, but he you know, took the time to show me what he was doing. And this is one of the stamps that he had and to use on the sides of the ring,
Can you imagine having a tool like this and being skilled enough to use it to turn out these types of designs?
That, and then he had to cut, you know, the sides of the, you know, the stamps with this. And then so he had that, just all these tools that he had little cookie tins of many different kinds of stamps. And the stamps that he had were here, he had used, you know, different parts of cars. He had used railroad, you know, nails. Just something that was strong, he said, and so he'd make his own stamps, but a lot of the stamps that he had was given to him and handed down. He's self-taught, actually, and so this is what he was doing that day. See, you see him cutting the stamps and showing me what he was doing, and I was about to have a heart attack because he dropped one of the stamps, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry." He had a little broom and he had a little dustpan right there, and he had about 1,000 stamps, over 1,000 stamps, you know, on his desk, and He's like, okay, since I showed you how to do this, he goes, I'm gonna take a day off because you're gonna be working for me. I'm like, oh no, I can't do that.
And we're talking generations and generations of families who pass these skills down to the family members. And so it's really just fascinating to me to think that this type of skill set, by supporting a brand like this, you're ensuring that it carries on. You know, this is not going to be a lost art. We don't want it to be a lost art. I mean, these are truly unique pieces. This is what you want. When you invest in jewelry, at least for me, I want a story behind it. I want it to be something special and unique. This has amazing reviews, which I would love to share a couple if I could, because I think the artisans would love to hear it too, right? So this one from JG97 says, I love this ring. It's very comfortable on my finger. It looks absolutely gorgeous. JM09 said, it blew me away the minute I opened the box. The green stone is breathtaking and the silver work is just top notch. Elimer said, the ring is a real beauty. The turquoise is the bluest blue. There's a lot of silver and a lot of detail. And finally, Gettysburg 07 said, Chaco Canyon never disappoints. The ring's absolutely gorgeous. I got the Kingman Turquoise. It's bold and very weighty. But you know, to that point, it is weighty and substantial, but it is so comfortable to wear. So if you would like to get this, normally this is $155. So it's the first time we have marked it down to this price point of $82.70. So you're actually saving $73 today. We're celebrating our Big Tucson Gem event here at HSN. So we have 6 flex payments on all